Picture this. 50 Cent, the self-styled king of petty and the undefeated champion of rap beefs, walks into a war zone he's been preparing for his whole career. But this time, he's not just trading barbs, he's throwing grenades. His targets, Jay-Z and Diddy. What began as Instagram jokes and playful jabs has exploded into outright allegations that could shake hip-hop to its core. 50 isn't clowning anymore. He's publicly accusing Jay-Z and Diddy of involvement in Tupac's death and claims they spent decades covering it up. This isn't a spicy tweet or a wild freestyle line. 50 says he's producing a docuseries under his G-Unit banner to tell the story. The man who gave us power and BMF now wants to narrate this chapter. What makes the move unsettling isn't just the accusation itself, but the timing. Diddy's homes were recently raided, and Jay-Z is facing a flood of lawsuits. In the middle of that chaos, 50 is doing what he does best, stoking the fire and making sure everyone's watching. He's been leaving breadcrumbs, mocking Diddy's legal troubles, posting AI-generated arrest clips, taunting Jay-Z about his family, and every time a scandal flares, 50 fans the flames with a grin. It's easy to dismiss as trolling until you notice how carefully it's orchestrated. He's not reacting, he's engineering the narrative. And the way he keeps circling back to Las Vegas makes things feel especially eerie. There's a long whispered story in hip-hop about what happened in Vegas the night Tupac was shot. Not the street version, but a more corporate theory that certain industry figures, hungry and powerful, felt threatened by Tupac. Allegedly, Pac had damaging information on labels, executives, and crooked deals, and was ready to make it public. Picture a private suite in a luxury Vegas hotel late at night. Tension in the air. A young, ambitious Jay-Z and Diddy, not yet billionaires, in a conversation that some say changed the course of hip-hop. The supposed pact wasn't just about calming tensions. It was about survival. The alleged price: one man's permanent silence. It sounds extreme, maybe unbelievable, but 50 keeps pointing out the odd coincidences. Too many people connected to those events went quiet, disappeared from the record, or stopped talking. Suge Knight, who was in the car when Tupac was shot, once told TMZ, "Why do you think nobody's been arrested? Because Tupac's not gone." Whether a diversion or an accidental truth bomb, the comment keeps a sliver of doubt open. And that's all 50 needs. He's constructed a narrative around that crack. His posts, memes, and deepfakes are layered. At first glance, they appear jokey, but on closer inspection, they read like pieces of a puzzle. He'll reference court filings, follow up with sarcastic DMs, roast Diddy one day, and share an old Jay-Z interview the next. None of it feels random. It reads like psychological warfare. And it's working. People are starting to ask real questions. Because if even a shred of what 50 claims is true, if Jay-Z and Diddy played any role in burying Pac, literally rather than metaphorically, then this is no longer just beef. It would be a cover-up spanning nearly 30 years, dragged into the light by the one man reckless enough to try. Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, the same guy who survived 9 bullets and built a career on being impossible to silence. Diddy's situation has become a hurricane. Raids, lawsuits, wild accusations, and whispers of parties that look more like sting operations than music events. From the outside, it looks like karma has finally come calling. As the feds collect evidence, 50 turns every update into a viral spectacle. One week it's memes, the next a fake trailer for Diddy, the false starring AI versions of public figures. It's comedy with a sharp, nasty edge, but beneath the laughs is a serious, calculated campaign. Because beneath all the jokes, there's a chilling question. What if he's right? And it isn't only Diddy who's feeling the heat. Jay-Z, usually the untouchable chess master of the rap world, suddenly looks like he's on defense. Lawsuits are circling like sharks. One civil case even names him alongside Diddy, accusing both men of horrifying acts. Jay-Z's team has pushed back hard, calling the suit a blackmail attempt, a cash grab, and an insult. But the damage is done. Once your name is tied to something like that, especially in today's internet age, you're not just fighting in court, you're fighting in everyone's comment section. Then there's Beyoncé. Say what you want about Jay-Z, but this is the part insiders can't stop talking about. Allegedly, Queen Bee is done playing damage control. Sources claim she's furious behind closed doors, not only about the lawsuit, but about how closely Jay has kept Diddy in his orbit while Diddy's empire unravels. One source even says she told Jay, "Diddy goes or we do." That's not just marital drama. That's a billionaire brand on the verge of burning. Don't be fooled by the red carpets. Sure, Blue Ivy smiles for the cameras and Beyoncé's PR machine pumps out feel-good stories, but people close to the Carters say the tension is very real. Behind those glamorous Instagram posts is a couple scrambling to protect everything they've built: music empires, clothing lines, film projects, legacy, and reputation. And 50 Cent knows exactly where to poke. He mocks Jay for staying silent and turns family moments into fodder for conspiracy, joking about premieres and fatherhood with a smirk. The deeper you dig, the more tangled the web becomes. This isn't just one accusation or one scandal. It's a slow unraveling of the illusion that the kings of hip-hop were ever untarnished. Diddy's whole bad boy era now looks like the setup to a Netflix true crime special. The homes, the parties, the bravado, everything is under review. Old relationships, from Cassie to former assistants, are suddenly being re-examined. Every time a new detail surfaces, 50 is there with a meme, a post, or a smirk, keeping the momentum alive. He's even offered cash rewards for tapes, publicly posting offers to buy security footage, old recordings, anything that could make the story darker. He isn't bluffing. He's weaponized the internet. Even his AI arrest videos land harder than some documentaries because they blur the line between fiction and reality in a way people can't look away from. People used to write 50 off as a hater or a troll. Now they're starting to wonder if he's playing a long game, building a case in public, one punchline at a time. When the real documentary drops, it won't just be a story about Diddy. It could read like a blueprint for how empires rot from the inside. The mogul at the top didn't just win with talent. They won with secrets. And 50 Cent seems determined to expose them all. Las Vegas has always carried a certain mythology in hip-hop, a stage where fate seems to play out under neon lights. For Tupac, that stage became the final act, at least officially. He was gunned down at a red light just hours after a fight at the MGM Grand. The more people dig into that night, the less random it appears. Suge Knight, who was in the driver's seat, walked away with barely a scratch. The shooter was never found. Witnesses went silent. And the moment Shakur was pronounced gone, the music industry shifted like a tectonic plate. Diddy's rise after that moment was meteoric. Diddy's bad boy empire exploded, fueled by the tragic death of Biggie just months later. It was as if the game cleared itself of every rival in one swift motion. The timing was perfect, too perfect. And that's exactly what 50 Cent keeps emphasizing. It's not just about who was involved, but when. The aftershocks of Tupac's death created the foundation from which these moguls launched their empires. To some, it wasn't simply tragedy, it was opportunity. And according to whispers within the industry, that wasn't coincidence. It was a calculated power move. Rumors of a so-called Vegas pact have circulated for years, not in courtrooms, but in green rooms, on private jets, and in dimly lit studios. The theory suggests that certain executives, realizing how volatile Shakur had become, made the ultimate decision. Tupac wasn't just a rapper. He was a threat, a man with evidence, fury, and nothing to lose. If you believe the theory, eliminating him wasn't about revenge. It was strategy, a necessary evil to stabilize an industry that couldn't afford a wild card. And then there's Keefe D, the man who recently confessed to playing a role in the shooting, claiming Diddy offered $1 million for the hit. But even that admission leaves more questions than answers. Why now? Why wait nearly 3 decades to speak? And why, despite his confession, does it still feel like the full story remains just out of reach? It's as if everyone knows more than they're willing to admit, but no one dares to fully break the silence. Meanwhile, 50 Cent is playing the long game with surgical precision. Each post he makes adds just enough fuel to keep the theory alive. He isn't presenting evidence like a journalist. He's tossing red meat to a hungry internet audience. And in an era where people trust memes more than news reports, that might be more dangerous than any subpoena. His AI-generated videos feel like jokes until you realize they're shaping public perception. His mockery of Jay-Z and Diddy isn't just entertainment, it's erosion. A slow chipping away at their image until the line between rumor and reality blurs completely. Now, Jay-Z's legal troubles are stacking up, while Diddy's empire appears to be collapsing in real time. Homes raided, lawsuits mounting, allies disappearing. This isn't mere public embarrassment anymore, it's survival mode. And as the headlines grow darker, 50 Cent's smirk grows wider. Not because he relishes the chaos, but because it validates what he's been hinting at all along, that the legends we idolize may have built their kingdoms on bones. The final question isn't about guilt or innocence, it's about legacy. If even a fraction of these rumors are true, what does that mean for the history of hip-hop? Were its biggest icons simply brilliant businessmen? Or were they something colder? Architects of silence? Was Tupac a martyr, a reckless cannon, or the casualty of a secret deal that went too far? 50 Cent may never provide the full answer, but maybe that's the point. Maybe the real power lies in keeping the question alive, forcing people to look twice at everything they thought they knew. Because in this story, the truth isn't just buried,